there's a couple.
Take it away, Gordon.
Yeah, there's on Thursday night. On Thursday night, I'm hosting a security Web3 Bitcoin whatever. So just an event online. So I've got a bunch of stuff there to talk right from the basics. I think that everyone in the space, we've all sort of cruised in. We've got pretty low levels of security, but it's a bit different to the normal Web2. Web2, we're just cruising in and we're relying on a third-party server provider, like a third-party provider to manage all the security with our credit cards and the likes. And even if someone did if there was some sort of scam in some way, there's potentially that you can get your money back. Yeah. And that's a good thing about the Web2 system. But the Web3 system, once you connect in, you're pretty much on your own. And there's no one to go to fix up what you do. So I've learned a lot in the last few weeks about cruising around the NFT community, hearing all the stories about, artists, creators, people losing their NFTs, losing their businesses, just through really bad security. So pretty much just covering a few things so I've come across these guys called NFT Approved, Guy Madden, pretty incredible dude. There's a whole community there there's a Twitter space as well they have on Thursday nights. So if you just go to NFT Approved, the Australian one, there's a couple of NFT Approves there, cool. And follow Guy Madden and the like. So yeah, gonna do a session on that, starting out with Proton Mail, and pretty much isolating your various levels of your security, depending on who you are, as you're going through. You got your personal stuff, you might use a Gmail, but you've definitely got to have a Proton Mail for your crypto stuff. You might have a separate Proton Mail for your high security stuff. Yeah, you might have a separate computer even for your super high security stuff, and depending on what level you're operating at, because so I'm going to do a little session on that, but I think it's sort of can be an ongoing.
Awesome. What's your go-to browser? Because mine was Brave, and I don't know if you've been sort of keeping up with what Google's doing with advertising. So they're basically changing the code base for Chrome. And all these forks of Chrome are sort of going to be subject to vulnerabilities because of that. Yeah.
So it did concern me. I mean, right up, I thought, this is cool. We sort of got off the big system, but we're actually using a Chrome browser still. So I've always questioned that, but I thought, well, it's better than just being on straight Chrome.
Absolutely, yeah. I think the big thing with that is I think around advertising specifically. So it's going to kill like uBlock, AdBlock, all that sort of stuff. And I don't think Brave's going to be able to handle that. So the way they're doing it is a bit sneaky, I think, from what I've been reading. I've actually started migrating back to Firefox, funnily enough. Like I haven't used Firefox in years, and they seem to be sort of killing it with security.
So maybe we should just all go back to Firefox and help them build out what we need to build out there.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, so I was looking at a couple of things, probably out of, so Jeremy, since we met, we actually created a foundation. We had to bring some legal structures in place, just to protect everyone who's operating in the school. We found out there could be, this whole thing about partnerships and, you're doing a few things together. Next thing, who's responsible? So we just brought all the projects under the Digital Playhouse Foundation. So Kieran's on the board of the Digital Playhouse Foundation with Lecture and I, and Kieran got a Stacks grant as well. Don't know if you were there when we got that. So
I think I was, yeah.
So that's and Kieran's got Stacks stacking away, and we've got some BTC rewards coming out so that once we get project builders into the School of Bitcoin, they can apply for grants and likes. So it's pretty. So we've sort of got the structures in place. We've got the School of Bitcoin. We've got Stacks now, so it gives a pathway for people to learn a language, and the question's going to be like, just as you brought up before, are we going to be out encouraging people to learn Solidity? Are we going to be encouraging people to do stuff over on the Lightning Network, on the Bitcoin Network, on the Stacks Network? And I think that's our edge move here. Like particularly in Australia, there's already a big community. It's a huge Ethereum community. There's a big Algorand community. I mean, these guys, everyone's doing really cool stuff, really great stuff. An amazing dev community in Australia. But at some point, we're going to have to go, well, who's on the Bitcoin team? And everyone holds Bitcoin. So I think we've got the first mover advantage, like big time.
Yeah. For sure.
And that's our edge to create, I guess, because ultimately we've all got to, feed ourselves. We've got to get to events that we want to go to. And, we're all sort of going off and doing projects with this, Ethereum or with someone else or someone, but I think there's so much opportunity here in the Bitcoin space. So
yeah,
it's been,
yeah, for sure.
So Kieran and I and Electra went through like the Stacks onboarding program. So this sort of gave us a lot of good ideas, a bit of a framework, how to build out some business.
So run us through that. So this was the Stacks meetup. So Electra jumped in as well.
Yeah, so out of that, pretty much it's just a consolidation of where we were. So previous, where's my screen? I'll just get it up. Yeah, so basically after going through the onboard program, it's okay, where are we at now and how do we actually build something? And I think it's really applicable.
You should be able to share, I think, if you want to.
Yeah, I have got a bunch of email addresses and things there. I'll just pull up and personal, as in contact stuff. But what I'll do is I'll bring it up. Where can I do that? And I've got it on this other screen. Let me
too many screens.
I just got to learn how to share a screen that's on another screen.
It should pop up. It should give you like the option for the different.
Okay, what do you say? Share. Okay, there we go. Screen 2.
Hey.
Yeah. So I sort of. Yeah. So can you guys see that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a bit small. So I've got look, we've got Stacks Australia hub up the top. Maybe we don't that up there, but like in the school of Bitcoin, Electra came up with something pretty cool here, Kieran. On Stacks, they got learn, build, and a couple other things up on the top of their page.
Yep.
Well, basically, we sort of looked at this bit of business strategy is how to get some traction here. So we've got learn, which is the school of Bitcoin.
Yep.
And there's a couple of things you can do, like working out what that's going to be. What curriculum. I've got another sheet here. And then in the build section, well, could be build on Lightning, could be build on Stacks. And then the report. So Electra's got a group called Accounts on Chain, Jeremy. So there's about 500 professionals in there. And they're all learning to integrate, how to integrate their businesses with the Web3 applications and all the software tooling for invoicing and reporting and creating, it's all on chain, but it's like, what does that mean? So to a startup, what's my bottom line? Where are my assets? It's all, it's not just a bunch of code. It's turned into a report. So doing some pretty cool things there. They sort of gave us some cool directions about identifying the pathways, Kieran. Like I think they went through it with you. Who are the builders? Who are the contributors? Who are the participants? And who are the explorers? So it was pretty cool. So even going out of it here is going, okay, so in the school of Bitcoin, getting some people like working on some particular things. Yeah. And we can we're big enough. We've got a framework there now to go, okay, if it's Lightning and setting up nodes and that, then say, Oliver, would you be able to just be nominated to be the go-to person?
Yeah, good idea.
And say in our Discord channel, it would be, okay, if you want to get yourself set up on your node, then go over to that channel. And Oliver's there to help you out, and he's your lead person. Yep. And then how do we get that and monetize that for Oliver too? And so looking at some ideas. And then if you say doing your get off zero, that could be say education, and that could be Kieran. You're over there in that chat. So as people come into our community, identifying where they're at, are they new? Are they just here to, are they here exploring around, or are they already from Stacks or from Bitcoin, say, for example, and they want to get active and contribute? And then, so it's sort of like a bit of a, although we're an open team, you've still got to, I think, have some people leading, to help people drive along. And leading comes with experience, and it comes with, it comes with experience. It comes with, I guess, a history of your participation. Because ultimately, we're learning a lot about governance. Ultimately, you know, how do you be totally, what do you call it? Ultimately say to change, you know, how do you make a decision to make a change and get the collective consensus?
Yeah.
So,
Difficult.
you know, ultimately you've somewhat got some gatekeepers at the top of the chain based on what, you know? So I see a good theory, but, you know, and can create some really good roles out of that. So we've got sort of some roles, core team, 4 to 6, core contributors up to 10 people, you know, participants like 150. So they're people that are active in our community, and then the newcomers coming in. So yeah, getting a bit of a framework set up, and I think we're already 2/3 of the way, you know, like 50% of the way there, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
So I went to a couple of things here. I just going to the other. So yeah, sort of covered quite a bit there, and can get some outcomes out of that. So I was looking at, say, for example, School of Bitcoin. So some action lists, getting some, because we're all pretty busy now. We've got new roles in a bunch of things. So getting like an action plan going. So for the School of Bitcoin, we've got to get a Bitcoin miner set up. Yeah. So who's ordering it, who's configuring it, who's stalling it, who's doing what out of, you know, and getting some roles in here. And that can be like, this can be like 10 deep of the, you know, the 10 contributors, you know?
Yes. Yeah. That's great.
The main ones actioning the items, and we can just mark them off. So as we meet each week like this here, or each fortnight, whatever, we go, okay, what's new to the list? What's in, what's, you know, like we find something new. Okay, we're going to implement it. Let's action it. And so I got sort of like setting up so that we are, first of all, we want to be self-sovereign. So we've got to get the Bitcoin miner. We've got to get Lightning Node, get the tap signer, get the nunchuck, BT server paid up. We need to get an Amber account so we can onboard cash. And then
I've got a link for that, so you get $10 for free.
Awesome. So yeah, I think that's like, say, this week is ordering all these things and getting them in, and then we're totally operating as a business.
Yeah, beautiful.
And I think also making the decision, like you said once before, Kieran, at what point are we just going to go off grid? Like, we need to decide, are we going to stay in the current system, or are we going to get off the system? And we're going to have two. We're obviously going to be running over here. We are going to have to use CBDCs, whether we like it or not. We are, while we've got cash, we are using cash. But we've also got to get completely set up over here.
Yeah, the CBDC thing, like just talking about that, and there's articles this morning that I shot through with the new British PM, like, you know, promoting it, and he's like a quote unquote crypto bro, and saying how good CBDCs are going to be. I'm like, oh, right, this is the angle they're going to take, which, I mean, to me, it's pretty frustrating. But I think, like, we really need, like, in Australia, like you said, Joni is, and there's a number of people are, like, approaching federal government to explain, like, why that's not a good idea to go down a central bank digital currency path, unless it's an open framework. So I was been thinking about this for a long time. So I reckon, if you could do a CBDC and have an atomic swap for BTC, fine, right? Like, so it's open. You can review the code that they're using for it, and then it's optional. So you can use it as Aussie dollars, or you can immediately swap it into BTC. That would be fine. I don't think they're going to go that route. And I think it's going to be like, if you read through the World Economic Forum papers, sort of the China style, censorship style, social credit score style token, right? So like, they're going to have in there, they talk about having an expiration date on a token. So it's like, all right, Jeremy, I've issued you $100 for the week, and you're allowed to spend it on these things, and after a month it's expired and you can't spend it on anything else.
So quick question, have you guys heard of the Oz DeFi Association?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. So I went to a couple of their meetups before, and one of the guys who runs it, Numbers, they're actually talking a lot about Australia and CBDCs now. So if you want to like talk to them, they're across the whole, especially like the regulatory side of things, and yeah, they're kind of like getting feedback from their community about what people think should be an Australian CBDC should look like, stuff like that. So like in terms of people who are knowledgeable about that subject in Australia
Mm.
specifically, yeah, maybe if you want, I could connect you with
Yeah,
one of
please.
them, and
That'd be
yeah.
cool. Definitely.
Mm.
I think
Yeah,
there's
that's
so much to it.
yeah, there's a
Sorry.
Discord there. Electra and I met with one of the guys from DeFi because I was seeing how we collaborate to spread throughout regional areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, Numbers. Yeah, Kieran, you like Numbers. He's definitely off grid sort of dude. Like, and he's I think he's just about to get his law. I think he's about to be admitted to the bar, if I'm correct.
Oh, cool.
If it's right. But yeah, between him and Joni, I'll post you up some links. If you follow those guys, they've got they had a meeting with Treasury. I think it was the Federal Reserve the other day, the Australian Reserve Bank.
Yeah.
They had a meeting, and Joni's written a paper about why Australia should make Bitcoin legal tender.
Beautiful.
If it's not legal tender, how can we interact with El Salvador, where it is legal tender? I mean, it's got to be legal tender because it's legal tender there.
Yep.
Are we saying that we're not going to recognize the Japanese yen because it's? I mean, seriously?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So she read a great paper on that.
That's awesome. No, I'll have to have a squiz at that. But yeah, it's so important, and to see them sort of rolling out the CDBCs so quickly, and kind of saying the quiet part out loud, like it's like this isn't right, guys. Like we probably need to step up and do something about it. So I think like I think for the most part, like people in positions of quote unquote power, I think it's about getting the right people in now. Like, so Bukele is obviously the most extreme example of that, but like having, because we like, I mean, in this space, we all kind of want to go, yeah, well, that doesn't apply to me. Like, whatever, do whatever you want. Like, we're, using BTC and using decentralized networks. Like, we can just go around this and, like Bruce Lee, be like water. But I think there's a lot of people that are kind of like stuck, right? So like they need someone in a suit to tell them what to do. They're still living like that, right? A lot of people. It was really crystallized to me actually last week. There was like in my class a discussion around like ads on television. Like I haven't had a TV hooked up since the year 2000. Like, I'm like, what ads? What are you talking about? And they're all like having a conversation about like what this new ad is on television. I was like, oh shit, right. This is what we're dealing with.
Is that the Elon Musk Bitcoin ad?
I don't even know. That was some nonsense, like some jingle that they all knew, and I was just like, whoa, what? That sounds like hell. I don't want jingles in my head. That's awful. But that being said, there's a lot of those people out there that are still watching TV and need someone in a suit to tell them what to do. So maybe the CDBC could be a good thing. Like I said, if it's an open framework and we can review the code and you can easily do like an atomic swap into BTC, but it's getting to the top and speaking to the right people to make sure that happens, I think.
Yeah, you should reach out to the boys at Ots DeFi, Kieran. You've got a lot of contribution to make if you want to play in that space. They're getting on those, going to those treasury meetings and going to those Fed meetings.
I will, yeah.
You got time. That's they're pretty into it. Steve Ballas, Joni, Numbers. There's a stack of them there. They're really active, and I think Steve Ballas has got approach. He's pretty much going, look, we can't wait for them to come to us. We've got to go to them.
Yeah.
It's very much about opening the conversation because it's not, if we just, I think in the background, we can all become self-sovereign, all that. That's great. That's a plan B. And it's essential. I think, anyone, I think it's been some great ideas around that, everyone thinks, the Canadian truckers were the only ones that locked their bank accounts up, or, it's like these small groups and everyone goes, oh yeah, that's not me, but then when you look at it and you go, well, half of the nation became unemployed because you weren't told to do what you wanted, like you didn't do what you were told. That's sort of like a way bigger issue than just locking up your bank account.
Huge.
Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
So they have already tapped in at on a massive scale to a point where people would really need to question, well, if they did that easy, they could easily then go, you're either going to comply with this one or you don't. And it's, so I think it's important that we get everyone, have the opportunity to be self-sovereign.
100%. And maybe even not self-sovereign, but responsible. So become a responsible person. So you're not just palming off responsibility onto somebody else all the time. I think that's the key. So it's like, you don't have to know everything, and you don't have to know all the ins and outs of, every piece of technology coming out, but to have responsibility for yourself, I think that's the key, right? Because there's so many people out there, they just want to like not think and have somebody else do everything for them and then blame everybody else. I think when you take the responsibility onto yourself, then you build a better society. So I think if we can get that message across to people, I think that's the way to go.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, they're great thoughts, Kieran. Just coming back to, can we just cover a couple of things with the?
Yeah, please. I've got 10 minutes before I got to do a podcast.
So just some actions on that there. We've got for the NFT certification. I thought it'd be good for us to have a little workshop with Brett to get an understanding of what should be inside the certification.
Great idea.
So Gamma has basically a no code application to create your own NFT. And that could be, say, sufficient for us for the minute rather than having to get a Clarity coder.
Have you seen them, Jeremy? I reckon you dig Gamma. They're doing some pretty cool stuff.
I'll check them out. Yeah,
it's where you can get your BTC domain. At the moment, you can only receive NFTs, I think, to your BTC domain, so .btc. But I think it's all being worked on that you actually be able to use your .btc to receive, Bitcoin.
I see. So it's like a name service. Yep.
Yeah, it's a name service, BNS. So btc.us.
And then they're doing like NFTs and stuff in there as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So I thought that'd be cool to workshop that out, see if we can get a first certification going.
Great idea.
And on the alternative, we should actually just be talking to Jacques. Jacques may know all the back end of the coding for that and do a properly crafted NFT.
Yeah, actually, would you be able to reach out to him, Gordon? I haven't had a chance to, but I think that's a good idea.
So I think that could be. I'll just put Jacques onto the list there. In there, one column to the right. So I'll put that up there, Jacques over here, right? And get that happening either way. So we've got the content, and then in the curriculum, Kieran, I was thinking, Stacks have got a new beginners course through Code Academy. I was thinking for the minute until we get like some structures going, but at least to get, say, our newcomers into the space. So say they join Discord, or say they sign up with an email or something. Might be cool to have just like, I know we talked about like web forms and things and whether they're good or bad or whatever, but probably more on the basis that, hey, you come here if you want to provide some info, and having that qualification that, hey, we know these web forms are maybe, there can be breaches putting information, but it could be, say, your Discord, it could be your Twitter, it could be whatever, how you want us to connect with you, and then what pathway do you want to take. So, are you brand new? Do you want to get off zero? Are you here because you want to learn about smart contracts? Are you a founder that's got an idea and you want to, a few things like that to try and get them into some right places. So if you wanted to learn, for the minute, would it be cool to just go, okay, we've got the Stacks Code Academy course there, but if you do it and you come through us, then you get off zero, you get a certification for it.
Great idea. That's a really cool idea. Love it.
Yeah, and then so I think probably going back to a get off zero. I was going to suggest to you, do you want to do the get off zero for Bitcoin in the School of Bitcoin as first course? And you've done a bunch of those courses through Swan and this and that, the other. Were we thinking we actually put ours together so you get a certification from that? It's just like that first one.
Yep.
And not too hard.
I reckon we could probably do that through Amber specifically.
Yeah, great, perfect. So I was thinking using Amber. That could be, you get off zero, you know, so I think just going through, okay, let's just do a 10 point little course thing over, you know, 20 days, 30 days. I think a lot of people probably just don't do them.
Yeah.
It's probably going, okay, your first one is go your first 5 days, first to second to, and then I was thinking, looking at the, as we get some stacks, if we take on this next chapter sort of level, we're going to get some stacks in, using the BTC rewards off that, so they could get their Satoshi wallet at the end. They can get a couple of sats.
Yep.
If they do the stack certification one, they can get a couple of, they can get say 5 stacks, so they can do a first NFT on stacks or something, you know.
Yeah.
So looking at something that could be a reward in the back end of that NFT, you know.
Yep.
If we've got, you know, and I'm just chucking some ideas up. And then, yeah, Clarity certified, it could be Bitcoins. Oh, I was actually thinking too, we could have a Bitcoin, like Bitcoin certified for business.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a really cool idea.
Electra's got the professional, the accountants group, accountants on chain. Well, are you a Bitcoin certified business? And what would that look like?
I love that. That's such a cool idea, Gordon. Yes, let's do that for sure. That's awesome.
But BTC certified,
Yeah.
probably go BTC certified just in case there is a problem with the Bitcoin name down the track.
Yeah, BTC certified. Like, I love that. BTC certified business. So yeah, I mean, that could potentially even be like revenue as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because it is a professional qualification, so we could have an entitlement. Yeah, we're all open source and that, but we need to sort of generate some revenue for business. You know, the spill of Bitcoin we need to generate if we can, I think, you know.
Yeah,
well,
and that, like there's, I mean, it's different metrics for a business than it would be for like an individual. I think that's huge. So it's like, well, and actually, are you using open source software for your business, like, and have all those sort of things ticked off?
Yeah.
You know, what wallet are you using, like what BTC Pay server, whatever it is. I think that's a brilliant idea.
In your stacks one, you know, our sponsors here could be Verse and Hyro.
Yep.
And just, yeah, I was probably just building out some who, you know, who's going to be doing it, who's going to be the sponsors. Yeah, you know, this one here, we could get some serious sponsors behind this for BTC certified.
Yep.
I don't know. I haven't looked up on the web to see if anyone's done that.
No, neither have I. I think it's pretty unique.
And out of these here, I thought, do we need to get some BTC names, .BTC names? So, you know, Kieran, do you just want to pop that up? See if you is get off zero .BTC taken?
Yeah, I'll see if I can get it. I'm guessing it might be, but I'll give it a go.
Let's have a look at that one. And I thought some other ones, yeah, we could create some cool BTC. Yeah, I thought we could create some cool NFTs off the side of these here. So when you get your certification, yeah, it's sort of like a bit of a, I'm not quite sure. I was just thinking there, you know, like, it's almost like you've sort of joined a bit of a club, you know, type thing. And that gets, out of that, then you go into the roles that people want to do. So do they want to be, if they first come in and explore, you know, who just wants to stay there? And if they've done that, usually people get a bit excited. Like Jeremy's back today. So, you know, is Jeremy here to explore or contribute and getting that with having that conversation with everyone that comes in and out of the system. Hey guys, what are you doing? What are you specializing in? How about we direct people to you on that? So you might have a business, and that could, connecting people to actually do things, you know?
Yeah, brilliant. I've just put a link to a web app that we're using for Amber called ClickUp, and it's quite easy to use. And basically, you can put all this sort of stuff into like action plans. So we could probably assign it to people and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, and that was actually the question that I had, Kieran, was our community builder. So there's been, obviously with stacks, we've got Notion for some things. It's like setting these targets and then have you action. I really like the way you work through stacks there. You went, these are my targets, and you did them, you know. And then another one there was called Orbit that they introduced us into. I haven't had a good look at it yet. That the Orbit one goes around that basis of core contributors, participants and explorers, you know, and they're all in the orbit. And you might be you might actually be sharing some of those things.
Yep. Well, yeah, ClickUp, I think it's pretty similar. I think it's just free.
Okay.
That's the only thing.
Awesome.
Whereas I think Orbit's quite expensive when we looked at it. I was like, okay.
Yeah, all of these things, they give you 12 months free for a founder, and then they expect you to pay a fortune after you're up and running, you know?
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I'll find out actually if ClickUp is free, but it's pretty easy, clean interface, and you can just drag and drop like your different tasks across.
And then I had one other question, was our communication channels.
Yep.
So I thought on sort of this basis of, you know, if we're going to have, if we've got the Get Off Zero people, like if you think, you know, if you're in the founding group, like knocking down, say, our channels in School of Bitcoin to some relevant smaller groups.
Yep.
Okay, if you want to set up nodes, Bitcoin miners, and likes have one group for that, which is Oliver, if he wants to be in there, you can sort of like really help people there. He can offer his services in there.
Well, I was thinking about this as well. So we got the Discord, obviously, for anyone who wants to jump in. I was thinking maybe for people certified, we use Session specifically for that. So it's like, all right, here's you should know how to use a Session ID by this point, and we can set you up, bring you in.
And that's your community. That's your communication. Yeah, perfect. Because it's like all different communities are going to operate. So wherever the devs are hanging out, once we get to smart contract building and the likes, I mean, they might all want to be in Telegram.
Yeah.
Like in Australia, all the devs are in a Telegram for our.
I know. Yeah, it's gross.
Example. So I'd rather it be in, let's get everyone into Session.
Let's push them into Session. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, in particular, because like Telegram's not encrypted, right?
No,
so
I don't want to be there.
No.
The more we move everyone over, and that becomes, yeah. And then as we get towards, I think when we get to the console, the new Web3 Discord, Jeremy, some guys from Stacks have built one called Console. So yeah, it is I believe it's a completely, your
decentralized Discord.
Decentralized.
Yeah.
They will onboard, so they're onboarding the first ones they're onboarding is a community called Punk. It's the Punks. Who are they? Cyber. It's an NFT group.
Well. Yeah.
It's one of the punks in my apologies, I should know it. So yeah, communication. Okay, so we've got sessions. Just in regards, we set up last week. We set up we'll continue to use what's the Substack.
Yep.
I was thinking again, should we really though, should we really be just going like sessions, like be going to Sigil?
For a newsletter? Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, right. Yeah.
For the blogging, as in, we're sort of always going between this Web 2, Web 3, Web 2, and we keep using this Web 2. At what point will we go, we're going to commit to supporting the decentralized applications like Get Sessions, Sigil. So it's probably
Stack of News is probably my favorite. Stack of News is awesome. I don't know if you've seen that one, Gordon or Jeremy, but they've got basically it's like Hacker News but built on Lightning, and you get paid in sats like for whatever articles you put up. Yeah, it's brilliant. As the only issue is it's just so many articles that you kind of lose track a little. So I've got an RSS feed. I'm like, Jesus, within like a few hours, it's just all new content all the time. It's huge. So, but I mean, in terms of a blog, it's awesome.
I was wondering how that goes. So if we did an article in Substack, can I then send that over to Sigil? Can I send that over to Stack of News? Does it automatically?
You can send it to Stack of News. I don't think you can do it on Sigil from memory. I think you have to copy and paste the whole thing and do it again. Whereas, so if we did Substack to Stack of News, it's literally putting the link in and it does it. So it's
a little bit of admin, but I think should we so let's use the Substack, and I
think use the Substack to push out, and then link to the others as well. So
and then
I think Stack of News is easy enough.
Yeah, and I don't mind doing some copy paste over the Sigil. I mean, it's only once a week, and that was the other thing about this community building is like looking to see who actually wants to contribute.
Yeah.
So in that contributor section is, yeah, as we get people to help them get engaged, you know, so we've got some incredible people, and Oliver's making a massive contribution.
He's got COVID at the moment. He sounds like he's not doing too well. Yeah.
Yeah. And Karen, who's been here, she's been turning up, you know.
Oh, she's over in Europe at the moment for the big Korchak event. So I'm really keen to hear how that went when she comes back. Yeah. She did a email update, but I reckon she'll have a lot to share.
She's amazing, and probably looking at, you know, she's at the meetings, but you know, if there was some things she was writing or doing or something like that, and helping promote that out. And then we've got Karen as well. She's here. Karen is a lady that turns up here all the time.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Awesome.
And she's keen. She's joined the Stacks Advocates program as well.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, and also like Jeremy, whatever you're working on, keen to promote it. And if you want to contribute anything, definitely like jump in and yeah.
Sure. I'm pretty keen to look into that language that you mentioned before about the smart contract thing. So I might have a look at that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Why don't you run through the beginners course and we'll spin up an NFT cert. You can be the first one to get it. Anyways, guys, I gotta jump. I gotta get onto a podcast now. Thanks so much, Gordon. Thanks for jumping in, Jeremy. This is awesome. We'll catch up next week. And Friday for us, Gordon, is that still going ahead? I think.
What's on Friday?
I don't know. The web dev.
Yeah, I'm on the road, but I'll see how I can jump in. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, cool. Jeremy, I'll shoot you over some links, and I know I did a lot of talking about what we're doing over here, and it was be awesome. Yeah, so good to have you back. And if you want to jump in and do some stuff, I'll send you all the links to the Clarity Camp, and a bit of or if you want to jump on a chat with us, I can run you through with a couple of things about, you know, how it's all working, how the ecosystem is, and who to jump in with and connect with. There's some super cool people in Stacks, some super cool projects being built.
Yeah, just email me the links actually.
Yeah, we'll do.
Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, guys.
All right, see you guys.
Catch ya.
Bye.